Okay, so you saw what happened, right? Let me just stand record and say that never before have I experienced this kind of interference in my lives, in my broadcasting. Never, ever before. My entire system just shut down as if someone somewhere pressed a button. This is ridiculous. So we understand that they don't want the truth to go out, apparently, right? There is no way in HE double hockey sticks that, it's almost unbelievable that they would shut me down for speaking the truth, which shows you how wicked this world is, how wicked this time is. It shows you just how wicked things are and how censored things are, where they don't want you to speak the truth and they will shut down your live stream. Okay? It's amazing how they just shut down my live screen. Okay? That is I'm just blown away. I'm blown away. They just shut down my live stream. That is crazy. My entire system just simply reset without anybody touching anything, as if someone hacked in and pulled the plug right while I was sharing this information. I tell you, man, apparently what I'm saying is very true, because they are like, nope, we can't let that get out. Can't let that get out. Well, listen, my brothers and sisters, we're going to have to continue this as a part 2. I've got far more material. I've got far more material than I have time. So, hey, brothers and sisters, when I get back, we will continue with another segment. Be right back. So, I mean, hey, man, I mean, that just kind of, I don't know. I'm with you, Miss H. I'm shaking my head too. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, really? They are so afraid of the truth coming out. Listen, if what I was saying was not true, then why not just let it ride and let it be proven to be untrue? But you know what? Because what I'm saying is true. Because what I'm saying is the truth, and Yah is on our side, because what I'm saying is the truth, yeah, they are fighting against the truth. And on that note, let me just simply say this. Let me say this. I wasn't going to share this. And in fact, I want to have a meeting of all those that I would consider to be staff, those of you, and even if you would like something to do, I need to have a meeting with you. Look at this. Even my title's gone. Even my title underneath me is gone. This is crazy. I would like to have what I would call like a staff meeting during the week here. Maybe we can do this on Monday. For those of you that would like to be present, if you could please put my email address up, I will contact you all and we will have, I feel like we need to have a little bit of a meeting. Reason being, and let me just say this before we move to another segment. Reason being is that they have hacked our magazine site again. Even after we spent about $2,000 In getting that back up, they hacked the site again. So I need to basically deal with this, right? We need to basically deal with this. Let me do this. I'll be right back, going to a commercial, and we will return. There are increasing numbers of Hebrew Israelites all over the world, from Asia to Africa, from Mexico to Germany. There are Hebrew Israelites that are coming together as a nation and as a family, and you are needed. You are needed to take your place as the educator of your families, your sons, your daughters. So we want you to enroll in Navi Beit University so that you can take your place in the kingdom. Now is the time to prepare to create Hebraically centered scholarly materials to educate others, to teach your family, to teach your sons, your daughters, to teach the young, to teach the old, and to bring them into the knowledge of the Most High. The Most High is gathering us together as He has promised. So enroll in Navi Beit University, connect with the administrator and the registrars, and enroll today for just $35 for a bachelor's per month, or $45 for a master's, or even enroll in the doctorate's program. You can get a degree with a Hebraic focus at Navi Beit University. Hebraic education, undergraduate, graduate, and specialty courses. Hi, I'm Melki Uriel, and I'm excited to offer you a brand new course at Navi Beit Academy. One of the first courses that we're developing at Navi Beit Academy, and we're welcoming you. It's called the Hebrew Memorization Course, and perhaps you've been reading some Hebrew reference materials, and you note that the paragraphs are numbered by the Hebrew alphabet, as well as the verses. And you're wondering, well, how do I know which is which? If I want to go to a particular paragraph, how do I do that? You may also be wondering, well, how do I memorize the 10 Commandments? I want to be able to memorize the 10 Commandments and know them frontwards and back, and be able to recall them in order, and to know which commandment is which. As well as the Hebrew alphabet. I want to know the Hebrew alphabet and their numerical values from 1 to 400. I'm here to tell you that you can do that now. Now there is a course here at Navi Beit Academy where you will memorize the Hebrew alphabet from 1 to 22 and their numerical values from 1 to 400, as well as the 10 Commandments. All anyone will be able to have to do is to just either speak the number or the Hebrew alphabet, and you will be able to recall it. It's as simple as thinking of a number like 19, and 19 in the Hebrew alphabet is Qaf, which its numerical value is 100, and its paleographic Hebrew symbol is that of the horizon. Let's say 3, all right? Just a random number. 3 in the Hebrew alphabet is Gimel, and its paleographic Hebrew symbol is that of the foot, and also its number is 3. But guess what? Since it's 1 through 10, number 3 would represent the third commandment of the 10 Commandments, which is, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Well, how am I able to do that? I'm able to do that because I've been using this system for some time now, and I'm willing to offer to you through this course at Navi Beit Academy. That's right. You can take your time. If it takes you a week, if it takes you a month, if it takes you 2 years, it's up to you to just study at your own pace. The only thing we ask you to do is just to dig in with us. And I'll even let you in on a secret. You can start the course for free. So thank you very much, and we can't wait to see you on the other side. All right, we are back, my brothers and my sisters. Okay, we're back. Good. So, hey, I do want to have a meeting with all of those who are a part. And listen, if you want to be a part, if you want to help, if you want to be a part of staff, then yeah, let's go ahead, and I want to meet perhaps even as early as tomorrow. Okay. So with that being the case, yeah, let's keep it moving, my brothers and sisters. Bergen, if you could please put my email, contact me, those of you that will, and hey, we'll go ahead and we'll have a meeting. So let's keep it moving. Here we go. We're going into another segment.
Who by all logical Like it or not, religious leaders, especially pastors, wield a huge amount of power over the flock they oversee. But more often than not, we see that influence gets misused and manipulated for the preacher's selfish, devious intentions. From staged resurrections to Ponzi schemes, today, we take a look at some of the most corrupted black pastors. What number 5 did will leave you shocked forever. Number 9, Alan Bosak. Coming in at number 9, we'll begin with Alan Bosak, a liberation saint who found himself a new kind of freedom. At first, he was the man of the people, spewing fire from his holy mouth against the vials of the racist segregation that was in place in South Africa in those dark days of apartheid, side by side with the great Archbishop Desmond Tutu.
Yeah, that's not going to stop. Thanks. And then we're going to stop.
Bosak called out corruption with a Bible in one hand and a microphone in the other. But that was the image he let us all see, because somewhere between the sermons about liberation and the conferences about justice, Alan Bosak found a new kind of freedom, financial freedom. You see, Bosak was more than a pastor. He was a movement, good-looking, charismatic, sharp-tongued, respected around the world. When he talked, everyone listened, and he talked a lot about the oppressed, the poor, the voiceless. The whole world believed him.
They never spoke to our people. From today on, we will say to them, whatever it is that you decide, unless you speak to your people, we will stand up, we will protest, we will block you at every turn, and we will never...
Where he went, their hearts and minds followed, and so did their pockets. Donations poured in, millions meant for humanitarian work, all entrusted to this reverend who promised change. The only problem? Not all that money made it to the hungry. By 1999, the people's pastor had become the defendant. A man who once accused governments of greed was suddenly accused of exactly that, fraud and theft. Investigators had found out that donor funds meant for children's programs had taken a detour through Bosak's personal channels. It was like Robin Hood had stopped sharing with the village and started shopping for himself. The same hands that once held protest placards had now been caught signing checks in all the wrong places.
Oh boy.
Of course, when the allegations came, he tried to fight them, claiming it was a misunderstanding, some sort of technical mix-up. But the evidence was too clear, too concise to sweep away. He spent just over a year in prison.
Stop selling votes,
But by the time he'd be released, his reputation was soiled, his halo has left him, his following fractured, and all he was left with was a complicated legacy, the freedom fighter who'd freed donor funds into his own coffers. But up next is a man who, by all logical reasoning, should never be allowed to mount a pulpit ever again. Number 8. Paseka Motsoeneng. In the East Rand of Johannesburg, South Africa, there's a man named Paseka Motsoeneng, or as some people like to call him, Pastor Mboro, who pastors a church he's called Incredible Happenings Ministries. And honestly, there couldn't have possibly been a more fitting name for this fraudster's congregation. The things that happen there are beyond incredible. They're unheard of. In 2011, Motsoeneng was accused of SA after inserting his hands into 2 of his congregants' supposedly to expel. Yes, you heard that right. This self-styled man of God, 17-year-old child in the full glare of his church members. But the horrors don't nearly end here. In fact, they're only just beginning, because just 7 years after that, Mboro claimed to have restored a couple's libido, and to prove it, he had the couple perform intercourse in front of a TV crew. When TV shows wouldn't show the incident, Mboro organized a mass protest to be staged outside the TV studios to force them to air the episode. This was obviously a man who was using the pulpit as a front to express all of his decadent fantasies and his habits with money. Mboro wasn't any better in that regard either. He was terrible with credit. In 2020, a major South African bank threatened to auction his Germiston house due to non-payment of loans. Apparently, they'd loaned him around 1.4 million rand, some $82,000, but he had only paid around 600,000 rands, about $35,000. So roughly 6 years after taking out this loan, Mboro was owing arrears of around 1.3 million rand, about $76,000. In his defense, he claimed that the bank had been fraudulently stealing money from his account amounting to over 3 million rand. But then, around the time of this debacle, this man, Motsoeneng, had recently purchased a BMW i8 said to be valued at 1 to 2 million rand, about $100,000. A little too much for a humble servant of God, if you asked me. His antics were so bad, the BBC did a documentary on him titled The Millionaire Preacher, Reggie Yates, Extreme South Africa. This man was more of a con man than he was a man of God. In March of 2016, Mboro told his congregation that he'd gone to heaven during an Easter church service.
Oh boy.
And he'd come back with souvenirs, selfies he'd taken on his smartphone. For those who'd like to see them, their wallets would have to open though. He was requesting a donation of 5,000 rand, around $340 or so. Before the story made it to social media, some unsuspecting members had already paid the fee.
Wait a minute, was
no
he
refunds
just...
were made, however. And yet, while
Was
it's
he
pretty
just
obvious that
actually,
this
like,
man was just playing on the
holding
faith of
himself in the
people who were
pulpit?
just looking to worship their creator, you'd be shocked to realize that Mboro still has a very strong following to this day. In fact, they were over the moon to welcome him when the legal debacle was over.
La mporo la, awusumporo la, you know? Ngazothandaza la.
But if you thought Mboro's heavenly selfies were wild, then this next pastor will knock your socks off. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 99% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. Number 7, Prophet Lethabo Rabalago.
Oh boy.
This is Prophet Lethabo Rabalago, the Mount Zion General Assembly prophet who sprayed doom on his members' faces. Not doom like perilous situations. No, this man was actually spraying the insecticide, doom, in people's faces. In 2016, Lethabo was recorded on camera doing this. He claimed that the insect repellent he was using could work healing miracles, such as curing his church members of cancer and also HIV. When interviewed about it, Lethabo claimed he'd sprayed the face of one woman because she had an eye infection.
Took the step of faith that I believe it can heal people, and I believe people that saw the testimonies and people that were healed.
So why not use water or oil then?
My faith, I believe it was extended to
So who's telling you to use doom?
God.
Oh boy.
God's telling you. And has God told you about the side effects of spraying doom in someone's eyes?
Yes, but we haven't seen the side effect because that person was having problem with eyes. So after we hit for that person, we prayed the group, the eyes were opened, just like that.
According to him, after the healing, the woman turned out just fine because she believed in the power of God. His reasoning was pretty straightforward. If insecticide could ward off cockroaches, then it could surely ward off the evil spirits that were causing these ailments in his church members too. However, the manufacturers, Tiger Brands, thought otherwise. To them, the practice was extremely alarming, and they weren't wrong. For those who didn't receive their healing, the side effects of the spraying plagued them for several months afterwards. Surprisingly, his members were solidly behind him. They said he was a man of miracles, not madness. Some even claimed doom had cured them of pain and sickness. But their illogical thought patterns didn't matter. Eventually, this self-styled prophet of doom was dragged to court, where he was forced to pay fines. But this wasn't the only weird thing happening at Lethabo's church. Photos surfaced on social media of him making church members lie on the floor while loudspeakers were placed on top of them. Thankfully, from the latest updates, it appears Lethabo's church has been closed down.
What
and
kind of
honestly,
madness?
good riddance to bad rubbish.
What kind of madness?
At number 6, we have Pastor Colin Davids, a South African pastor who taught his congregants that God actually wanted them rich, but it could only happen if they invested through him. And this wasn't some basic tithing scheme. No, Davids was going for something much bigger. He brought a business idea to his New Direction Grace Ministries congregants. All they had to do was invest in a Ponzi scheme he was bringing their way. The congregants, full of blind faith in their pastor, immediately began pumping the project with their money. He called it Platinum Forex CC. Those that put their money into it were promised a monthly return of 2 to 8. And at the end of the investment period, they were guaranteed to get their invested amount, so old investors would be paid with money from new investors. It was a little shady, but there was nothing to bother about. The man of God had co-signed this wonderful opportunity. It was going to change their financial situations forever, he'd said, and in truth it did, just not in the way they had expected. After nearly 10 years, not a single person had received any money, investment capital, nor interest. Questions were asked, but they were answered with biblical calls for them to exercise patience. In 2025, the man of God by calling, Forex trader by hustle, was in court, along with his business partner, Derek Bredenkamp, accused of fraud. Apparently, it had been discovered that his Ponzi, Platinum Forex, wasn't registered as a financial service provider, and so wasn't lawfully entitled to conduct the business of a banker. Besides, people's funds were missing, to the tune of 329 million rand, nearly $18 million. Eventually, they were slammed with 56 counts of fraud. Their sentences? 9 years in jail each for financial fraud. Sadly, it's not quite the same case for this next preacher. Number 5, Pastor Timothy Omatoso.
I'm sorry, he looked like something wrong with him.
Now, if you've watched this far, we've shown you
That jacket proves it.
prosperity preachers. We've exposed fraudulent miracle workers, but with the disturbing case of Timothy Omatoso,
Nah.
we have a man who was neither. Omatoso was something far worse, a man who wrapped manipulation, money, and abuse in the language of God. Born in Nigeria, Omatoso came to South Africa with a Bible in one hand and a business plan in the other. On that foundation, he built Jesus Dominion International, a church with branches across the country. On TV, he was charismatic, smooth-talking, well-dressed, the kind of pastor who could make even the skeptical lean in. And honestly, who wouldn't? Omatoso wasn't like the other prosperity preachers who, to be frank, have become quite stale. Instead, his sermons
Did y'all see that shirt?
were the firebrand stuff: holiness, destiny, and deliverance, the kind of words that would get anybody off their seat. But behind the sermons, there was a darker kind of dominion at play. Omatoso's ministry was built on fear, control, and submission. According to court documents, young women in his church were allegedly groomed, manipulated, and coerced into lewd acts, which he told them were serving the man of God. He told them that obeying him was equivalent to obeying God, and when they resisted, they were under spiritual attack, turning unsuspecting young women's faith into a weapon. That's how Omatoso managed to blur the line between
I mean, how sadistic do you have to be to take an innocent young woman, a child of 17 years of age, and mess up her mind to the degree that if she does not do what you want her to do, you're saying that, demons are, she's full of the devil. And I mean, this kind of stuff is ridiculous, but it's amazing and it's unbelievable.
Religion and exploitation.
Oh, they yanking him out the church, y'all. They yanking him out the church.
It all unraveled in 2017 when Omotoso was arrested at Port Elizabeth Airport on his way out of South Africa. The charges? Human trafficking and assault involving several young women. One of them was only 15 years old when it started. The details that came out during the trial were chilling. Survivors described being housed in facilities Omotoso called disciples' residences, isolated from their families, and forced to perform acts under the guise of spiritual obedience.
Oh, my
Surprisingly,
goodness.
after spending 8 years in jail awaiting trial, Omotoso was released earlier this year as the court found that the prosecuting team failed to present a solid case beyond reasonable doubt. Pretty sus, isn't it? His reaction to the sentence was even more embarrassing.
Father, we thank you. We give you all the glory back to you. Father,
This is unbelievable to me. It really is. It's unimaginable. But my brothers and sisters, listen. One thing that it doesn't scare me, but it's something that I see, is that when individuals are so sincere in their belief, but they are sincerely wrong and led astray. This is why we continually go to the scriptures and we measure it to the scriptures. We follow the scriptures. We let there be proof that comes from the word of the Most High and not the Holy Bible. But, all of this prosperity preaching and all of that, it's all of these things come from the Word of Faith movement and all of these jackleg preachers. This is ridiculous. You're right. This is witchcraft. This is manipulation. The lies upon lies upon lies. It is just unbelievable what people will believe in trying to get to the Most High and trying to be righteous before Him. My brothers and sisters, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't believe everything that you hear. Measure it by the word of the Most High, because if you don't, it's just crazy.
What if I told you that there are $25 platforms where you can get financial help? What if I told you that there are 25 platforms where you can get financial help for free? That means that you can get financial help whether you are launching a business, paying some bills, it could be medical bills, it could be bills for your house, even travel, guys. There are websites where you can get free money to fund your travel even. And the best part, many of them have little to no strings attached. Today I'm going to walk you through these platforms and give you tips on how they work and how to get the most out of them. Now, why am I sharing this video? I'm sharing this video because, number one, I'm not an advocate for, getting things for free and, or abusing people's money or people's resources. However, I do know that there are lots of people in this world who have such a kind heart and who are ready to give, who have been blessed, and that they understand that we are blessed to be a blessing. I know that. And I've also had some times in my life where I have been blessed. A lot of you know that I went through a very difficult time when my husband was unwell, and we as a couple and as a family went through a very difficult time. And even though during that time I didn't ask for money, I didn't ask for help, people just from the kindness of their heart would do lots of things. I remember I had friends who sent us on like weekend breaks, or sent me on weekend breaks after he passed away, and people who would just drop off food, cooked food, to us, or food that hadn't been cooked, who just, random people who would just reach out to family members and go, can you please send me Pam's shopping list? And they would just do my shopping and send it to my house just as a way of helping. Or people who asked to take care of the kids, people who found out that they were fans of Arsenal and who would get, tickets for them to go watch a game. I'm so emotional just even talking about it, and it just brings me back to why I'm recording this video. There are so many kind people in this world, and if you are a person who is, who does have a need, and the need is out there, in terms of the people to help you are out there, I feel called to share these things with you. So please don't feel no way. Have a look at this list, and if you feel that any of them could help you in any way, reach out to these platforms, and I'm gonna, do my best to walk you through exactly how to reach out and all of that. And if you stay tuned until the end, I have a gift, because whilst I am sharing 25 on this video, I actually have a list of 50 of these, and there are no strings attached, but I do want this message to reach as many people far and wide. So all I'm asking is that you subscribe to this channel, turn on your bell, and just comment below this video. Let me know which of these platforms you want to give a go, or just what you thought about this video, and I will make sure that my list
give a go. Make sure you decide which platforms you want to give a go. She must be in the UK, hey?
reaches your hand. So help me spread the word by making sure you are subscribing to this channel and of course commenting below this video. So let me dive into the very first platform that I want to share with you. So the first website I want to talk about is called Fundly. Fundly is the Swiss Army knife of crowdfunding. It works for almost anything personal or community cause-based.
Now, I have not used any of these. I have not linked with any of these. This is just information that you can check out for yourself. No one on this channel is a financial planner, or so forth and so on. So you have to do your own research and make your own decisions. But I was wondering if this would be helpful for some of you that may have a desire, a need for funding in some areas.
So I'm talking disaster relief, memorials, medical bills, and even funding of a local project. It's all here. So to get started with Fundly, just hop onto their website at fundly.com over there, and you'll see a lot of things. And I would say the very first thing you want to go into is go into the how it works section. So it has how it works for individuals and how it works for nonprofits, and you simply start your campaign, and it is for free. It's a start for free with Facebook, or just start your campaign, and their donation platform is easy to use, it's helpful, and it scales to any size of fundraiser. The key with Fundly is to tell your story in order to connect with donors, people who will give you money for your cause. And you can tell your story with videos, with blogs, with photos, and all things. So it's really, really easy to use. The second platform is for my entrepreneurs and startup owners, and it is called Crowdfunder. This is going to be your new best friend. With Crowdfunder, you can attract investors by showcasing your business plan or vision. It's especially great for small businesses looking to scale or launch exciting new projects. So as you can see on this section, we can do anything from campaigns, personal fundraisers, businesses, sports, community, prize draws, charity, community shares. So there are lots of things happening. So let's take a look at some of the examples. So this one, for example, is funding for win a British holiday, win a British Airways holiday, and 76% of this has already been raised, and there are 20 days left of this specific fundraiser here. And of course, cancer is very close to my heart because of what I went through with my husband. So this one is Nestle Help Men's Cancer Support Christmas Prize Draw for 2024, and it says all money raised will help support men and their families in the Western Isles who are affected by cancer. And this one has been, it's more than 100% raised. So it's 112% raised, and there are 2 days left. And I'm actually working on something similar to this, using the same website to raise money for families who've been affected by cancer, hence why this is one of my lists. So if you've got a business idea waiting to be launched, I want you to type in yes in the comments if crowdfunder might be for you. The next platform I want to talk about is Fund My Travel. If you want to go traveling but you have no cash, Fund My Travel is a platform where you can raise money for trips, be it for volunteering, family emergencies, or just chasing a dream vacation. To do that, all you have to do is to share your story, explain why it's meaningful, and watch as fellow travelers chip in. So let's take a look at examples. So we can see here, let's take a look at this one here. It says, help fund my solidarity. So I'm going to click this to open it. Let's see if it gets a little bit bigger. And you can see here, it says, help fund my solidarity work, Israel, Palestine. And you can see that they have received $1,000, and their goal is $3K, and it's been 33% funded. And look, everything is just so transparent as to how much has come in by various people. All you have to do is to share your story and have people fund you, and people can click this button to donate. It is so easy to use. So if you love traveling, you want to travel more, Fund My Travel is a really, really great website. For this fourth one, I'm calling all my filmmakers and storytellers. Seedon Spark specializes in raising funds for film and TV projects. So from production to marketing, this platform helps creatives get their stories on screen. And guess what, guys? They have raised over $49 million for creators. Taking a look at their website, you can actually see that they've indeed, I got my figures wrong, they have actually raised over $69 million, and they have funded 5,591 projects at the time of recording this video. And there is a whopping 82% success rates with this. So I think it's really, really worth having a go if you are a creative. The next platform I want to talk about is Go Get Funding. Think of Go Get Funding as your personal campaign headquarters. It is perfect for funding things like weddings, yes, medical needs, and creative projects. Let me talk about weddings for a minute. You know how much these things cost, especially for those of us who live in the UK or even in the US. Like, weddings are crazy expensive. So imagine getting some help with weddings or medical bills or creative projects. What sets this platform apart is that it has highly customizable pages that make your pitch visually appealing and professional. So down here on the website, you can see that it shows recent success.
Well, I'm going to stop it right there. Listen, I know that, we all could use some funding every now and then. If you've got a project and you want it to be funded, I figured I'd just, let you guys do the research on this for yourself and see if you would like it. As far as our Hebrew money goes, that's something that I want to say. I've been thinking about us actually starting our own investment group. This is where we put aside what we can and we invest. We make wise decisions together. We deal with money issues, we invest, and we help each other to create wealth. You would, it's something where you'd have your own account. Of course, I wouldn't have any of your information. No, we're not talking about you giving money to me or to anyone else. This would be just an investment group where we invest together as a community. So I'm working on some of these things. I want to have some conversations with our brother Adrian, who is our Minister of Economics. And hey, as soon as we get something together and come to a consensus, we will definitely bring it before you. But hey, this has been Hebrew Money, and we're getting ready for another segment.
A pale-skinned European warrior with flowing blonde hair? A Renaissance prince in royal robes? Yeah. Close your eyes for a second. Picture King David. What do you see? A pale-skinned European warrior with flowing blonde hair? A Renaissance prince in royal robes? Yeah, that's what they wanted you to see. But here's the thing nobody tells you. Every single painting you've ever seen of King David is a lie. The man who killed Goliath, the shepherd who became Israel's greatest king, the ancestor of the Messiah himself, he didn't look anything like those paintings. And the reason why is about to blow your mind. Because hidden in the pages of the Bible itself, buried in genealogies that pastors skip over, concealed in family trees that scholars avoid discussing, there's an undeniable truth. King David carried African blood. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, literally. His grandmother was African. His great-great-grandmother was African. The women who carried the royal bloodline into his veins came from the same lands, the same peoples, the same ancestry as the continent of Africa.
Well, see, the reason why this is controversial, one, it's controversial because some people say, well, what does color have to do with anything? And I get it. It's not about color, it's about the heart, it's about, and I get it and I agree. However, I think you guys know where I stand on this, and that there are people that are bent upon killing us. They are bent upon killing us because they say that we have not contributed anything, that we don't have value. We've been, what did they say that we were? Useless eaters. Despite being, the world's greatest consumers, we're useless eaters. And all the advances of the world were done without us. And so we're expendable. Okay, go ahead and genocide them, because guess what? They didn't contribute anything anyway. Well, this is a lie. And so I bring these things out because I'm trying to save lives. I'm trying to save the lives of our people, of our children, of our future generations. That's why this becomes an important topic. And it's not imagination. It's not like, oh, but Maury is just imagining that. No, these are things that are happening right now. And these are things that need to be discussed. And our value needs to be paraded rather than hidden. So is this controversial? Only to some.
And for 2,000 years, the most powerful institutions in the world have worked overtime to make sure you never knew that. They whitewashed the paintings, they rewrote the history books, they created an entire false image of what ancient Israel really looked like. Why? Because if people knew the truth about David's bloodline, it would shatter everything they've been taught about race, about power, about who gets to claim the legacy of the Bible itself. Tonight, we're going deep. We're pulling back the curtain on one of history's greatest cover-ups. We're going to trace the family tree they never showed you in Sunday school. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at the Bible the same way again. Are you ready? Because this is the story they never wanted you to hear. Let's start with a simple question. Why do all those famous paintings show David as a white European? The answer isn't religious, it's political. Starting in the 13th century, European artists began recreating biblical figures in their own image. It wasn't an accident, it was intentional. Renaissance painters, working under the patronage of kings and the Vatican, transformed Middle Eastern historical figures into pale-skinned Europeans. Why? Control. Think about it. If you're a European monarch in the 1400s claiming divine right to rule, what do you need? You need the heroes of the Bible to look like you. You need Moses, David, Solomon, all of them to reflect your image. Because if they look like you, then you can claim their authority, their legitimacy, their divine mandate. This wasn't just about art, this was about power. The royal families of Europe used biblical imagery to justify their rule. They commissioned paintings, sculptures, tapestries, stained glass windows, all depicting biblical kings as European royalty. It became so widespread that by the 1600s, nobody even questioned it anymore. But here's where it gets darker. When you erase someone's African ancestry, you're not just changing their skin color in a painting, you're erasing their actual heritage. You're removing their connection to an entire continent. You're stealing their identity and replacing it with a lie. And this lie had consequences. Because if David, the greatest king of Israel, the man after God's own heart, carried African blood, then so did his descendants, including, according to Christian tradition, Jesus himself. That's a problem for people who built empires on the belief that Europeans were superior. That's a problem for institutions that justified slavery by claiming Africans were cursed. That's a problem for anyone who wanted to use the Bible to prove that white people were God's chosen rulers.
And you know what I find interesting, my brothers and sisters? People will say, "Oh, they're racist because they're pointing to an African version of a Christ, or a black Jesus on a cross or something like that. Oh, they're racist. He's bringing up skin color. Oh, he's racist." Then I say this: if you are colorblind and color does not matter, then leave it black. Leave God black, leave Christ black, and let's see how colorblind you are. Let's see if it really, really poses a problem with your psyche, and then you'll understand what's been happening with the psyche of all of those who are melanated individuals, people of color, throughout the centuries by looking at a Eurocentric God and Trinity. I mean, please, if you say that you're not racist, then leave it black. Okay, if color doesn't matter, leave it black, and let's see how we get along.
So they buried it. They painted over it. They created an alternate history so convincing that even today, 2,000 years later, most people have no idea what King David actually looked like. But the evidence? It's still there, hidden in plain sight, in the genealogies, in the archaeology, in the DNA. And we're about to uncover all of it. All right, let's get into the family tree, because this is where it gets really interesting. The Bible actually tells us exactly who David's ancestors were. It's right there in the book of Ruth and the Gospel of Matthew. But here's the thing, most people never actually read these genealogies carefully. And the few who do, well, they tend to gloss over the parts that don't fit their narrative. Let's start with David's grandmother, Ruth the Moabite. You've probably heard of her, right? The loyal daughter-in-law who followed Naomi back to Israel? Beautiful story. What they don't emphasize is the part where the Bible explicitly calls her a Moabite over and over again. Ruth the Moabite. Not just Ruth, Ruth the Moabite. Why does that matter? Because Moab wasn't in Europe. It was a kingdom located in what's now Jordan, directly east of the Dead Sea. And the Moabites, they were an Afro-Asiatic people with deep connections to northeastern Africa. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, but Jordan is in the Middle East, not Africa, right? True. But here's what modern anthropology and archaeology tell us. The ancient Near East wasn't divided the way we think of it today. There was constant migration, trade, and intermarriage between northeastern Africa and the Levant. The Moabites, like many peoples in that region, had significant African ancestry. Studies of ancient Moabite remains show cranial features consistent with Afro-Saharan populations. Their pottery styles match North African patterns. Their language belongs to the Afro-Asiatic family, the same linguistic family that includes ancient Egyptian and Cushitic languages. In other words, Ruth wasn't European. She wasn't even what we'd call Middle Eastern in the modern sense. She was an Afro-Levantine woman, and she's David's grandmother. But it doesn't stop there. Rahab the Canaanite. Go further back in David's family tree and you'll find Rahab, the woman who helped the Israelite spies in Jericho. According to the Gospel of Matthew, she's also David's ancestor. And Rahab was a Canaanite. Now the Canaanites have been heavily studied by archaeologists, and here's what we know. Ancient Canaan was a melting pot. It sat at the crossroads of Africa, Asia, and Europe. And archaeological evidence shows significant African influence throughout ancient Canaanite culture. Recent DNA studies from burial sites in ancient Canaan show genetic markers consistent with northeastern African populations. Trade records show extensive contact with Nubian kingdoms to the south. Artistic depictions on Canaanite pottery show dark-skinned figures with African features. The Canaanites weren't a monolithic white civilization. They were a diverse people, and a significant portion of them had African roots. Rahab was one of those people, and she's in David's bloodline. But wait, there's more. Tamar. Even further back, we find Tamar. Her story is complicated, but genealogically, she's a direct ancestor of David through Judah's line. And who was Tamar? The text describes her as connected to local Levantine tribes. And here's where recent archaeology gets really fascinating. Excavations at ancient sites like Jericho and Lachish have uncovered evidence that the Levant during the Bronze Age had significant populations of dark-skinned Afro-Levantine peoples. DNA extracted from teeth and bones at these sites shows genetic markers linking these populations to northeastern and eastern Africa. We're talking about the same people who would later become part of the tribes of Israel. So let's pause and add this up. David's great-great-grandmother? African ancestry. David's grandmother? Definitely African ancestry. Multiple women in the royal lineage? Afro-Levantine heritage. This isn't speculation. This isn't theory. This is what the Bible itself documents if you actually read it carefully. King David's bloodline wasn't pure Israelite. It was mixed, blended, Afro-Levantine. And that changes everything. Because if David carried African blood, then the entire royal line of Judah carried African blood. The House of David, the dynasty that Christians believe leads directly to the Messiah, was never purely Middle Eastern, and it certainly wasn't European. It was African. Now here's the question nobody wants to ask. If this is right there in the Bible, why doesn't anyone teach it? Drop a comment below if this is the first time you've ever heard this, because I guarantee you're not alone. Okay, so we've got the genealogies, but maybe you're still skeptical. Maybe you're thinking, this is just interpretation. Where's the hard evidence? Fair question. Let's talk archaeology. Because in the last 30 years, archaeologists working in Israel and Jordan have uncovered evidence that completely contradicts the European image of ancient Judah. Let's start with the Tel Dan inscription.
Yes.
In 1993, archaeologists found a stone fragment at Tel Dan in northern Israel. Carved into it in ancient Aramaic are the words House of David. It's one of the earliest non-biblical references to King David's dynasty. But here's what's interesting. The archaeological context around that inscription tells us a lot about what the people of that time and place actually looked like. The pottery styles found at the site match North African and Nubian patterns. The metallurgy techniques show influence from Kushite kingdoms to the south. Even the architectural styles have parallels with ancient Sudanese construction methods. This wasn't a European civilization, not even close. Let's go deeper. Excavations in the city of David, the original fortress that King David conquered and made his capital, have uncovered thousands of artifacts. And many of them tell a very different story than the one you learned in church. Seal impressions, tiny clay stamps used to mark documents, show faces with broad noses and full lips. Hair depicted in tight curls or locks. Features that archaeologists describe as Afro-Levantine. Jewelry discovered in Judite tombs show design patterns that match those found in ancient Nubia and Sudan. We're talking about the same bead styles, the same metalworking techniques, the same aesthetic preferences. And then there's the DNA. In recent years, genetic studies of ancient remains from the southern Levant have revealed something fascinating. The people who lived in Judah during David's time had significant genetic overlap with populations from northeastern Africa. A 2020 study analyzing remains from Iron Age Judah found markers consistent with East African and North African ancestry. These weren't outliers. This was the general population. Now, does this mean everyone in ancient Judah was dark-skinned? No. The region was diverse. There was mixing between different populations. But what it does mean is that the idea of ancient Israelites as pale-skinned Europeans is completely false. The average person in King David's kingdom would have had brown or dark brown skin, Afro-Levantine features, hair textures ranging from wavy to tightly coiled. And here's something else they don't teach you. Ancient Judite art. Wall paintings and pottery from the period show human figures with dark skin tones. Not occasionally, regularly. It was the norm, not the exception. One particularly fascinating find comes from Lachish, a major Judite city. Excavations there uncovered pottery fragments showing daily life scenes, and in those scenes, dark-skinned figures. Women with African hairstyles, men with features that look nothing like the European depictions we're used to. But wait, there's more. Remember those Assyrian reliefs showing the conquest of Judite cities? The Assyrians loved to depict their conquered enemies in detailed carvings. And when they carved the people of Judah, they showed them with darker skin, broader features, and tight curly hair. Now, you might say, well, that's just how the Assyrians drew everyone. Nope. Compare those reliefs to how the Assyrians depicted other peoples. They showed distinct differences. And the Judites, they're depicted with clearly Afro-Levantine features. So let's be clear about what the archaeology is telling us. The kingdom of Judah in David's time was not European. The people were not white. The culture had strong connections to northeastern Africa. The genetics show African ancestry. The art shows African features. Everything, and I mean everything, points to one conclusion. The real King David looked nothing like the paintings in your church. He would have had brown skin, probably dark brown. His hair would have been black and curly, possibly styled in locks. His features would have been what anthropologists call Afro-Levantine, a blend of African and Near Eastern characteristics. And that's not a theory. That's what the evidence shows. So why don't textbooks teach this? Why don't documentaries show this? Why don't museums still display European-looking models of ancient Israelites? Good question. And the answer is going to make you angry. Here's the uncomfortable reality. The erasure of African ancestry from King David's lineage wasn't an accident. It was systematic, deliberate, and it happened for very specific political reasons. Let's go back to the 19th century. This was the height of European colonialism. European powers were carving up Africa, enslaving its people, and justifying it all with racial pseudoscience. And one of the ways they justified it was by claiming that Africans had no significant role in biblical history. If you could prove that the heroes of the Bible were European, or at least non-African, then you could argue that God favored white people, that Europeans were the chosen ones, that colonialism was divinely ordained. Sounds insane, right? But this was mainstream academic thinking in the 1800s. Scholars went back through historical records and systematically reinterpreted anything that suggested African involvement in biblical history. They downplayed Egypt's role. They ignored Nubian connections. They erased the obvious African ancestry of key biblical figures. And it worked. By the early 20th century, the standard interpretation of biblical history had become completely Europeanized. Textbooks taught that ancient Israel was a Caucasian civilization. Museums displayed models of ancient Israelites with pale skin and European features. Hollywood cast white actors to play biblical characters. But here's the thing. This wasn't based on evidence. It was based on ideology. And that ideology was supported by powerful institutions. The Vatican, for centuries, had commissioned Renaissance artwork depicting biblical figures as Europeans. Those images became iconic. Changing them would mean admitting that the church had been wrong for hundreds of years.
Oh no, oh no. Brothers and sisters, listen, this is interesting material, and in fact, it's been asked that I actually put up the video, that I put it up in the chat room. Let me do that. I'm going to put the video up in the chat room if I can. This is, I'm going to put the title up, and you're going to have to search this out, okay? On YouTube, okay? Search this out on YouTube, and I'm going to give you the title, okay? The title is Why They Erased King David's African Blood. Okay, you'll have to look it up for yourself, and because when I try to put the link actually in, it'll give you, something else that, an unclickable link. So, my brothers and sisters, I just simply want to say, even though this has been a day already, we're doing good. We're going to keep it moving, and we're getting ready to go into our next segment. Be right back. How Hebrew are you? Do I know how Yah uses dreams in the Tanakh? Question number 1. In which dream does the Most High reaffirm the covenantal promised land and protection to one of our patriarchs? In which dream does the Most High reaffirm the covenantal promise of land and protection to a patriarch? Is the correct response A, Abraham's vision between the pieces, or B, Yaakov's ladder dream at Bethel, or C, Joseph's sheaves bowing down, or D, Daniel's 4 beasts? Which is the correct answer? Josh Cooper is the first to weigh in with the B. Christine Croning weighs in with the D. Michael Charles Marsh weighs in with an A. Terry weighs in with the B. Ben Naftali weighs in with the B. Miss H weighs in with an A. Ninpo for Life weighs in with an A. Abimelech Yissachar weighs in with an A. Going once, going twice. Bool 132 says B maybe. Marie Yashaz says B. Peace and blessings to you, Marie. Glad you're here. Raymond weighs in with an A. What is the correct answer? What is the correct response? And the correct response is B. In which dream does the Most High reaffirm the covenantal promise of land and protection to a patriarch? The answer is B. This is found in Genesis or Breshit 28 verses 10 through 17. But we abbreviate with the following scripture. And he lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night because the sun was set. And he took of the stones of that place and put them for his pillows, and lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder was set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to the heaven. And behold, the angels, the B'nai Elohim, they were ascending and descending on it. So B is the correct answer. And so congratulations to everyone that did get a correct answer. Question number 2. In Pharaoh's dream, interpreted by Yosef, what did the 7 fat cows and 7 good ears of grain represent? Is the correct response A, 7 righteous kings in Egypt, or B, 7 tribes that will join Israel, or C, 7 days of plague followed by 7 days of healing, or D, 7 years of plenty that will be followed by 7 years of famine? What is the correct response? Boogle 132 is the first to weigh in with the C. Ben Naphtali weighs in with the D. Ninpo for Life weighs in with the D. Looks like we have a consensus. Joshua Cooper, D. Michael Charles Marsh, D. Christine Crowning, D. Miss H, D. Boogle 132 says up. I meant D. Marie Yashaz says D. All right, Raymond also says D. Going once, going twice. What is the correct answer for question number 2? What is the correct answer? And the answer is... The answer is D. In Pharaoh's double dream, interpreted by Yosef, what do the 7 fat cows and 7 good ears of grain represent? Well, according to Genesis 41, verses 27 and 28, D is the correct answer, and it reads, and the 7 thin and ill-favored kind that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What Elohim is about to do, he shows it unto Pharaoh. Congratulations to everyone that did get a correct answer on that one. Here's question number 3. Question number 3. Which non-Israelite ruler received a dream warning him not to touch a married woman who is actually part of the covenant line? Which non-Israelite ruler receives a dream warning him not to touch a married woman who is actually part of the covenant line? Is it A, Abimelech, king of Gerar, or is it B, Pharaoh during the time of Yosef, or is it C, Balak, king of Moab, or is it D, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon? What is the correct answer? Question number 3. Christine Croning is the first to weigh in with the D. And Michael Charles Marsh weighs in with an A. Ben Naphtali weighs in with an A. Josh Cooper says B. Terry weighs in with an A. Vogel132 weighs in with an A. Is there anyone else that wants to weigh in? What is the correct response? Nina Ninpo for Life weighs in with an A. Marie Yashaz weighs in with an A. Miss H says, A or B. Christine Croning says, nope. I think it's A. Raymond also weighs in with a B. Zeke Baller weighs in with a B. I'm glad to have you here, Zeke. And you as well, Raymond. Glad that you guys are here. So, what is the correct response? The correct response is A. Which non-Israelite ruler receives a dream warning him not to touch a married woman who is actually part of the covenant line? The correct answer is A. This is referenced in Genesis Bereshit chapter 20 verses 3 and 4. But Elohim came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, Behold, you are but a dead man for the woman which you have taken, for she is a man's wife. But Abimelech had not come near her, and he said, Yah, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation? Congratulations to everyone that did get a correct answer with that one. Last question, question number 4. In which passage does Yah explicitly state that he makes himself known to prophets in visions and speaks to them in dreams? Which passage does Yah explicitly state that he makes himself known to prophets in visions and speaks to them in dreams? Is the correct response A, in Devarim, Deuteronomy 13, verses 1 through 5, or is it B? Is it B? Shemuel, 1 Shemuel 3, verses 1 through 10, or is it Bamidbar? Is it in Numbers 12 and 6, or is it in Yeshayahu, Isaiah 6, verses 1 through 8? Ben Naphtali is the first to weigh in with a C. Boogle132 weighs in with a B. I'm sorry, with a D. Terry weighs in with an A. Josh Cooper weighs in with an A. Christine Croning weighs in with the C. Terry weighs in with the A. Elimelech weighs in with the B. Ninpo weighs in with the B. Miss H weighs in with the D, maybe. Michael Charles Marsh weighs in with the B. What could the answer be? Marie Yashaz weighs in with an A. Michael Charles Marsh weighs in with a B. Going once, going twice. And the answer is C. How Hebrew are you? In which passage does Yah explicitly state that he makes himself known to prophets in visions and speaks to them in dreams? The correct answer is C, in Numbers chapter 12, verses 6 and 7, which reads, "And he said, Hear now my words, if there be a prophet among you, I, Yah, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moses is not so, who was faithful in all my house." Congratulations to each one that did get the correct answer. This has been How Hebrew Are You? Nah, Nimpo, you are fully and completely Hebrew. We're all learning together. So congratulations to each one that did get correct answers. It's time to go into another segment. Hi, I'm Melchior Uriel, and I want to come to your church or to sit down with you, Pastor, and have a build where we discuss, open up scriptures, and discuss the realities behind the Hebrew way of life and following the laws. Please call the number below, and if unanswered, please leave a message. Thank you. Shalom.
So you're reading your Bible, minding your business, and you come across phrases like the sons of God in Genesis 6, or Paul talking about principalities and powers in Ephesians 6, and you're like, what does this even mean? Is it angels? Is it demons? Is it aliens? Your study Bible will give you a footnote that really doesn't tell you anything. You're like, cool, thanks, but here's the thing. There is actually a verse that explains it. Deuteronomy 32:8. Except most of our English Bibles changed what it originally said. 1947, a shepherd throws a rock into a cave. Pottery shatters, and inside there are scrolls that are over 2,000 years old, the Dead Sea Scrolls. And they don't match. When scholars compare these scrolls to our modern text, they found 3 different versions of Deuteronomy 32:8. The oldest scrolls say sons of God. The Greek translations say angels of God. Your Bible probably says sons of Israel. They can't all be right. So which one is the original, and why does it matter? And here's what's wild. A lot of our translations don't even tell us this is in a footnote. But the original reading changes everything. Who the sons of God are in Genesis 6, who the principalities and power are in Ephesians 6, and why Paul says that we're wrestling against the world rulers of this darkness. This isn't just one verse. This is about the entire framework of Scripture. So today, I'm going to show you all 3 manuscripts side by side. I'm going to explain why scholars believe the Dead Sea Scrolls got it right. And we're going to walk through the Deuteronomy 32 worldview. and see that it is a framework that unlocks Genesis, Daniel, the Psalms, and Paul's letters. Don't go anywhere because you're going to see the evidence for yourself.
And what is interesting, Marie says that there are far too many demons in the New Testament. And while that is true, I recently did a particular session stating that there are no demons. There are no demons, tongue-in-cheek, in the Tanakh. Okay? The Tanakh has a completely different scenario, completely different understanding of what demons are, okay, as opposed to the New Testament. Again, the New Testament is laced with Neoplatonism as well as Zoroastrianism with its extreme dualism. And then on top of it, yeah, it's got Greco-Roman philosophy in it as well. But anyway, hey, let's see what this scholar's talking about.
First, the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is 4Q Dute J. It's dated around 30 BCE. It's over 2,000 years old. Here is Deuteronomy 32:8 in Hebrew. El Mispar B'nai Elohim. According to the number of the sons of God, B'nai Elohim. That's what the oldest Hebrew manuscript says. Second, we have the Septuagint. Now, this is a Greek translation made 200 years before Christ. And this is what it says. Ketar, Erithmon, and Jelon Behu. According to the number of the angels of God. See, the Greek translators saw B'nai Elohim in their Hebrew manuscripts, and they translated it as angels. Because in Second Temple Judaism, sons of God and angels were interchangeable terms. And third, we have the Messianic text. This is the standard Hebrew Bible that most English translations follow. This version was standardized between 600 and 1000 AD, and this is what it says. El Mispar B'nai Israel. According to the number of the sons of Israel. Sons of Israel, not sons of God, not angels. Israel. So let's put them side by side. We have two ancient sources, 1,000 years older than the Masoretic text. They say sons of God or angels of God. The later Hebrew text says sons of Israel. They can't all be right, so which one is the original? And here's the thing. If you just read the context, the Masoretic text doesn't really make sense. Deuteronomy 32:8 is describing what happened at the Tower of Babel, Genesis chapter 11. God scattered the nations and set their boundaries, but at Babel, Israel didn't exist yet. Jacob, whose name became Israel, wasn't even born until Genesis 25. Abraham wasn't even called yet. So how could God divide the nations according to the number of the sons of Israel when Israel didn't exist? He couldn't. That's not what the original text said. So, if the original text says sons of God, and that reading is supported by the oldest manuscripts that we have, why do most of our English Bibles say sons of Israel? Was it just a copy mistake? Did some scribe sneeze and accidentally write the wrong word? No. Scholars have proven this was deliberate, and we know exactly why they did it. Manuel Tove, one of the world's leading Dead Sea Scroll editors, calls this the anti-polytheistic alteration. That's academic language for they changed it on purpose because they didn't like what it said.
Now, on that note, we have to understand that the ancients had a very different understanding of the spirit world than what we do. We are, listen, we're looking through a glass that has been glossed over and that has been romanticized by religion. It's been smoothed out, it's been cleansed, sanitized, and made to be really nice, neat, and pretty. But our ancestors actually had a different understanding. They had an understanding of the Most High and the spirit realm, much like a child would look at a superhero in a comic book. They were physical, but their physicality was far more durable. Almost, they were invincible. And they were physical without being men, but they were spiritual because they were divine. This is more akin to the way that our ancestors thought about the Most High, okay? Which is why when you take a look at the book of Breshit, chapter 1, you find what theologians call anthropomorphisms within the text, which ascribes to the Most High physical attributes and activities, such as walking in the garden. There are many works that talk about the physicality of the Most High as far as what the ancients thought, what the ancients believe. And it'll shake you up a little bit, because again, we're looking at a very sanitized and a very politically correct version of spirituality when we take a look at our Bibles. But the ancients had a much different understanding. And so with this, while in the beginning it did read the B'nai Elohim, which tells you that there are a number of spirit beings that are in the spirit world, but our Elohim is above any and every spirit that could possibly be named. But believe me, our ancestors thought differently than what we even think today.
After the Babylonian exile, Jewish scribes, they were so sensitive to anything that sounded like polytheism. And sons of God to them sounded, well, uncomfortable. Because if you read the original text in context, it's saying that when God divided the nations at Babel, he assigned them to divine beings, members of his heavenly council. And Yahweh took Israel for himself. Now, to a post-exilic Jewish scribe, that sounds dangerously close to saying there are other gods. Even if they're subordinate to Yahweh, even if they're created beings, it still feels close to the polytheism they just escaped in Babylon. So what do? You change the text. You swap sons of God for sons of Israel. Problem solved, right? This wasn't the only time they did it. Look at Deuteronomy 32:43. Just a few verses later, the Dead Sea Scrolls say, "Bow down to him, all gods." The Septuagint says, "Let all the angels of God worship him." The Masoretic text, it just cuts the whole line. Gone, deleted. See, the scribes systematically cleaned up the entire Song of Moses, removing every reference to divine beings in Yahweh's counsel. This wasn't accidental. This was editorial policy. All right. So if the original text says God assigned the nations to the sons of God, divine beings, what does that actually mean? Once you understand what Deuteronomy 32:8 is saying, suddenly all these weird passages in the Bible are going to start making sense. Genesis 6, Psalm 82, Daniel 10, Ephesians 6, they're all part of the same story. Let me show you. So here's what's going on. Genesis 11, humanity rebels at the Tower of Babel. God judges them by scattering them and confusing their languages. But Deuteronomy 32 says God assigned them to divine beings, 70 sons of God. Each nation gets a spiritual overseer, a territorial prince, a member of God's heavenly council. But here's the key. Verse 9 says, "But the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob his allotted heritage." God gave the nations to the sons of God, but he kept Israel for himself. Now, if this sounds weird, I get it. It is kind of weird. But it wasn't weird to the ancient world. We have texts from Ugarit, an ancient Canaanite city, that describe El, the high God, presiding over a council of 70 divine sons, the sons of El. The biblical authors wasn't inventing this stuff. They were connecting it. They're saying, yes, there is a divine council. Yes, there are 70 beings. But Yahweh isn't one of them. He's the Most High. He is El Elyon, and he's the one who assigned the nations. This is what scholars call divine council monotheism. One supreme God, multiple created divine beings serving under him. Israel alone has no intermediary. Yahweh rules them. And once we see this framework, the entire Bible opens up. Genesis 6, the sons of God saw that the daughters of man were beautiful. These are divine beings from Deuteronomy 32, and they rebel. Psalm 82, God stands in the divine council. God is judging the sons of God. He assigned them to the nations. They become corrupt. He sentences them to mortality. Daniel 10, the prince of Persia withstood me 21 days. Then the prince of Greece will come. These aren't human princes. They're territorial spirits assigned to Persia and Greece, the fallen sons of God from Deuteronomy 32. Ephesians 6, we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness. Paul is talking about these same beings. The sons of God who are supposed to govern justly become world rulers of this darkness. Here's why this matters. At Babel, God disinherited the nations. He gave them over to rebellious divine rulers. The world became enemy territory. But the gospel is a story of God reclaiming the nations. Jesus defeats the rulers and authorities at the cross. Colossians 2:15 says he disarmed.
Okay, so here he goes left completely, right? He goes left completely. Now, wait a minute. Okay, so you're saying that he goes left. Why do you say that he goes left? Well, okay, first of all, it does not hold water. If you notice, what he's going to bring up is that supposedly Yeshua ben Yosef dying on the cross, he defeated the principalities and the powers, a.k.a. the B'nai Elohim, according to his argument. And supposedly he defeats them on the cross, right? But if he defeats them on the cross, then why do you have in the book of Ephesians where you're putting on armor to fight someone who was already defeated, the principalities and the powers and the rulers of darkness? It does not make sense at all. It does not hold water. The devil is supposed to be defeated and destroyed. Hebrews 2:14. The purpose that Yeshua ben Yosef, called Jesus by the Greeks and the pagans, the reason why he came was that he might destroy the works of the devil. Later on, they say that he also made an open show of them, the principalities and the powers, and if they had have known that they never would have crucified him. And supposedly the devil is done for. He and all his angels are done for, but yet we find where you're told by the supposed Apostle Paul to put on some armor because you've got to fight a dead guy. You've got to fight someone that's already defeated and dead and that's been made an open show of. Again, it does not make sense. And the icing on the cake is that in the book of Revelation, after the Most High, according to their narrative, after he finally gets the devil in a headlock, he releases him for 1,000 years just because. Again, it does not make sense. So while he goes left, he does bring up a good point. And in fact, I did some teaching on the B'nai Elohim, and it becomes controversial only because there are many of us that are so estranged from the original way that the ancients thought of the Most High and the divine collective, if you will, or the divine council, which is seen in 1 Kings chapter 20, I want to say chapter is it 22 and 22? Makes me want to go there, right? Let's just take a look at this real quick, and let me make sure I'm giving you the right yes. 1 Kings 22 and verses 19 through 23, you could say. Yeah, that is the correct. That's where you find the divine council, okay? And just before we go into our other segment, hey, the divine council, let's go ahead and let's take a look, because again, this would be the B'nai Elohim that is being discussed. And with that, let's take a look. Let's take a look at what it's reading. 1 Kings, and this is very interesting, my brothers and sisters. Look at verse number 19. We will begin with verse number 19. Notice what it reads, 1 Kings 22:19. And he said, "Hear thou the word of Yah. I saw Yah sitting on his throne." This is the prophet Micaiah. "And all the host of heaven standing by him." Now, the host of heaven, this is the B'nai Elohim. He's called Lord of hosts. Okay, Yah Sabaoth. We're talking about him being the Lord of the armies of heaven, which are the B'nai Elohim, the sons of the Most High. They were standing by him on his right hand and on his left. Many have stated that those on his right hand, these are the good ones. These are the ones that handle the good stuff. And the ones on the left, well, those are the ones that do the dirty work. In other words, as I've always said, I've given you this analogy, someone has to bring in the groceries, but someone else has to take out the garbage. So there's some that deals with the pleasantries, there's others that deal with those things that are not so pleasant, but they all are under the control of the Most High, as is noted here in this scripture that reads that there are some on the right hand and others on the left hand. And Yah said, "Who will persuade Ahab to go up that he may fall at Ramoth Gilead?" And one said on this manner, and another said on that. Now, of course, the Most High did not need counsel, but he's opening it up for inclusivity so that the B'nai Elohim are included in what's going on. And so some says this, some answer this way, others answer that way. And notice what it reads in verse 21. "And there came forth a spirit, one of the B'nai Elohim, which stood before Yah, and said, I will persuade him. And Yah said unto him, Wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, you know what? That'll do it. Go ahead. Because, of course, he was under judgment. Ahab was under judgment. And so it was time for him to check out. Well, my brothers and sisters, this concept of the B'nai Elohim, it is very interesting. But I consider this to be a doorway into a completely different understanding that marries us closer to what the ancients understood about not just the Most High, but the spirit world itself. There is, I believe the scripture that I'm thinking about is Psalm 97 and 9. Let me get that real quick. Psalm 97 and 9, before we get our last segment. Psalm 97 and 9. And let's see. So take a look here at what this reads. Why is this verse important? Why is this verse important? Because notice what it reads. For thou, Lord, art high above all the earth. Thou art exalted far above all Elohim. Now, hold on to your hats. As we take a look at this in Hebrew, we take a look at verse number 9. And with verse number 9, we see where, why can't I see the numbers here? Hold on here. I should be able to see these numbers, and I can't see the numbers, for crying out loud. Okay, don't know what's going on there. Okay, there we go. All right, so taking a look at verse number 9, it reads, Ki ata ya'ol Elyon. Elyon. El Elyon is the Most High. Who we call the Most High is El Elyon, okay? Here abbreviated as Elyon. So this says, because you, Yah, you are the Most High, okay? You are the Most High, okay, in all the land. And it reads that basically, you are above all the other gods, all other Elohim. Above, I'll call the word A-L-L in English, and Elohim, gods. You are above all gods, okay? And so in taking a look at this ties together Yah and Elyon as the Most High, that Yah is the Most High. Okay? So when you take a look at Psalm 80, man, I don't know why this is okay, there we go. So when you take a look at the other scripture, even Psalm 32, and we're going to get into our last segment after this. I just want to hit this only because it's one of those scriptures that is, man, it's amazing. It's amazing. So basically, there's nothing for you to fear, like when you read Psalm 82. Some will paint the picture that, Yah was the son of El Elyon, but we just read where Yah is, okay, El Elyon, right? And so with that being the case, hey, we're going to go into our last segment. Be right back. It's now time for Moshe in your kitchen.
Hello everyone and welcome back. One of you guys requested for me to cook salmon on the Weber Go Anywhere
We're gonna have salmon.
So here we are about this.
By the way, I don't know if you've ever had salmon on the grill, but man, I'm telling you, I don't know if there's a better way to do salmon than to have salmon on the grill. Oh my goodness, it is so good. Let's go in.
Fresh from the farmer's market. So all you need is salt, pepper, salmon, and some olive oil in here. And definitely you need a hot grill. So this is a beautiful piece.
Now, let me just simply say this. I've made this, and you don't need a lot of seasonings on it at all. I mean, he's right. You some salt, some pepper, you know, a little bit of, yeah, I know, right? It does look a little farm raised, Ben Naftali. But, you know, if you put just a little bit of salt, a little bit of, you know, maybe just a tinge of garlic if you want, because the flavor is going to come from the smoke in the grill. Got to have some salt, right? A little bit of salt. But, man, I tell you, when you do it like this on the grill, it is absolutely wonderful. Yes, and you got to have some lemon. You are right. You are right. You got to have some lemon.
I'm gonna trim it off. I don't like this in here, so I'm gonna trim it up like there.
What you gonna do with that piece?
There you go. Let me set that one aside.
Okay.
So now we got a very nice, beautiful piece in here. First, we're gonna put some oil. It's very important to buy the salmon with the skin on. This is gonna help with the cook. So let me get some olive oil on like this. Nice and easy everywhere. We don't need to put seasoning on this side. Alright. Turn it around like so. That should do it.
And I do mine the same way. I'll pour a little bit of olive oil on top of it, and I'll just, you know, kind of just let that cover the top. And then I'll put the seasonings on top of that, and it keeps the seasonings and kind of locks the seasonings in. Man, you talk about good. And yes, hopefully I did mention a little garlic. But man, some lemon, garlic, some salt, oh. And you don't need a lot, but oh man, you talk about good.
This will help with the cooking, and it's gonna make the grill to not stick onto the piece of the fish right here. Okay, let me wipe my hands really quick. Alright, so first I'm gonna do the salt, fresh ground salt. This the well helps the seasoning to stay on the fish. That should do it right there. Get the pepper. Nice and easy everywhere.
I don't know, you put a lot of salt on there, buddy.
Okay.
What about the other piece?
Okay.
Man, he loaded that
while
up
the
with
fire's
salt and
getting
pepper.
ready, this is gonna stay in here. So all the seasoning is gonna melt down, and it's gonna be super nice. Alright, let's get to the fire.
Are you using propane gas, or are you using charcoal or wood? I don't use lemon pepper much. Perhaps I need to try it.
Ready? I'm just gonna put it in here. There we go. Try to put this aside really quick. Sorry about that.
Also, he prepares his coals.
For the fish.
I don't think I've ever seen that before, where they prepare the coals and then pour them into the grill. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
So we need like 350, 450, that in that range. So I'm gonna try to spread it out, make less heat. Okay. Let me get the grates. Right here. There we go. Okay, I'll put the lid back on.
Now, what I would do is, of course, I make sure that my grill is clean, but then I also put a little oil on the actual grill part, you know, take a towel and oh, that's common in the islands, huh? Didn't know that. Yeah. So I would put some olive oil also on the actual grill so that the skin of the salmon doesn't stick.
And wait another 10 minutes, and then we're gonna clean the grate, and it should be ready. Also, I have all the vents open for now. Just like that.
I agree, Ray. I agree. That was I thought that was too much salt and too much pepper.
Alright, the fire should be ready, and everything should be warm and hot.
Now, you know, when he tastes this, we have no way of knowing if there's too much salt on it, because to me it looks like there was. I'm going to tell you, that was a lot of seasoning.
Okay. We'll brush this really quick. It's been a while since I used this grill, so it's a really good brush. There we go. So let me put this down for a sec. Right there. Grill got very hot. I think it's like 800 degrees over here. So just gonna put a piece like right here. Alright. Let me grab the fish. So right here.
I mean,
very important. You gotta put his skin with the skin down. That's gonna right there. Okay.
Now, I'm sorry, y'all, but hey, I could eat that whole piece right there. Maybe if it didn't have so much salt on it.
It's gonna sit here for 5-6 minutes. Till it's gonna be almost done, and then I'm gonna flip it around for another 2 minutes. But yeah, let me put the cover on and wait. Alright, I'm back. Ooh, look at this.
Now
So
that
it's been
looks
around
good.
6 minutes on the medium high heat, around 350 degrees in here. It's very important not to make the grill super hot, otherwise you're gonna burn and gonna ruin everything. It's better to have a lower temperature, and it's easier to control. So you know it's done when it's not sticking anymore. So let me give it a little try. Oh, look at this. Also very important to put the oil on the fish, not on the grate. Okay, let me put this under. So the skin is falling off. So good. Turn this around.
It's looking good.
Right there. That means it's done. It's like, see this? When it's peeling like this, that means it's done. Alright. Let me leave it in here for another 2 minutes.
Okay, but don't make it dry now. Don't dry it out.
Then we'll go over the steps again. Right, time to check. It's been 2 minutes. Smells amazing. Let me get my plate. Okay. It's very easy. Oh, look at this, guys. Oh, look at this. Perfect. Right there.
Is it? Okay, so what are your sides going to be?
This piece right here.
That does look good. Is it too salty though?
Oh, yep, came out perfect. You know it's done when the juice is coming out, the little cracks, and it's definitely changed the color. So I did 6 minutes with the skin on the grate, and another 2 minutes on the other side. And yep, that's it.
Where are your sides,
thanks
man?
for watching, and please subscribe to my channel. I'll catch you in the next one.
I wanted to see the sides. And what, you eating that with salad? What, spaghetti? What are you doing? What are you doing, man? You should have showed us, and you should have tasted it. But hey, you know what? It looks good. That did look good. And you know what? I'm not even mad at him. This has been Moshe in your kitchen.
All right, there's the final product right there.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I put some garlic in top, and some polenta.
Okay.
And sprouts. And some cheese. Up, and some polenta. And sprouts.
Okay,
Some
Brussels
cheese.
sprouts.
Yep, that's good.
That's not cauliflower, is
my
it?
dinner.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. I did want to see the sides, and he did finally show us the sides. This has been, yeah, I agree, Ray. I like everything except the salt, too. Gotta agree with you there. Yeah, so this has been Moshe Up in Your Kitchen. And you know what? I'm Melky Uriel. When I come back, we're going to open it up for questions. If anyone has questions, we're going to give it a few minutes. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Melky Uriel, and I want to come to your church or to sit down with you, Pastor, and have a build where we discuss, open up scriptures, and discuss the realities behind the Hebrew way of life and following the laws. Please call the number below, and if unanswered, please leave a message. Thank you. Shalom. All right, now's the time. You can ask your questions. Yes, the call-in line should be open and functioning well. So if you want to call in, you can. If not, post your question in the chat room. Okay, post your question in the chat room, and we will address your comment or your question. Feel free. Now is the time. Okay, now is the time. Yeah, I know, Yehudith, I know, right? So where did the trolls go? Well, I mean, like, what's going on? I mean, especially with the topic like what I had, I would have expected at least a couple of Christian trolls to be in the room, but I guess not. Hey, I guess not. So, opening it up for questions. Are there any questions that you would like to ask? Let me know. Oh, now that sounds good, my sister. Jacqueline E. Bug said that needed some perfect broccolini and a serving of jasmine rice with a few slices of lemon. Man, that sounds absolutely wonderful. That sounds real good. Okay, I wanted to open it up for questions. Please address me with your questions. Put at, and then, of course, my name. Or even at More. Let me know that you're discussing this with me and I'm answering, okay, whether it be a comment or question, and then I'll know to respond to it. Otherwise, I will think that you are simply addressing someone else in the chat room. If you have asked a question earlier and you want to ask it again, you need to restate your question, because I don't want to have to wade through all the hundreds of comments just to find the question when it can be easily reposted. I think that's more, more efficient. Yeah, very true, Ray. Ray says, no disrespect to other people's taste buds, but some of us have to watch how much salt we use. True enough. Okay, so one question comes in. Christine Croning asks, well, why are they hacking this channel? It's because apparently they don't want the truth to go out. Apparently they don't want the truth to be known, and they want to continue the deception. So they are actually hey, they've been attacking our channel, which lets us know that we must be speaking the truth, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't be trying to attack the channel. Okay, so my sister asked the question. She said, Yeah, I agree, Michael Charles Marsh. While we're talking about salt, stay away from the refined table salt. Get a natural salt, either sea salt and get either sea salt or the Himalayan salt, okay? Okay, so let me do this, my brothers and sisters. There's a question as to why why aren't we called Arameans? I appreciate the question. For us to be called Arameans would point to Aram and any specific contributions that he may have had to the plans of the Most High. But as we can see, he did not, at least as far as the record shows, that he did not contribute significantly to the plans of the Most High. But it became more specific, if you will, as the closer we get to Abraham, the son of Eber, and the son of Terah. I've heard it said that excuse me. I've heard it said that actually Eber is more so an action. It means to cross over. And when you take a look at the Hebrew language, it does mean to cross over. It is a described action. And so even though Eber is an ancestor of Abraham, we do find where Abraham can be considered one to have crossed over in his travels, as he crossed over into Canaan land and as he crossed over, into other parts. So the term Hebrew coming from Eber would fit the life and the life and the narrative of Abraham's existence and experience. So I don't see why we should be called Arameans after Aram. Because remember, nationhood is not about, it's less about genealogy than it is about ideology. If you notice Moses, the Most High said, look, I'm going to get rid of all of them, but I'm going to make a new nation out of you. Now, wait a minute. Moshe was of the same bloodline he's an Israelite, right? He was the same bloodline, but his ideology was different. Many of us think of nationhood as, a different genetic group, a different haplotype. That is not the case. One good example of this is to take a look at Great Britain and to take a look at the United States. Same people, but different ideology. That is what a nation makes, a different ideology. So, again, that also points towards Abraham, and that Abraham, of course, was of a different ideology and mindset than Aram and everyone else. Okay? All right. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there are any other questions pointed to me. Okay, so my brother Bergen says that the trolls are in the comment section after you post the lesson. I got you. My sister asked, how can we prevent this? Well, this is one of the things that I want to discuss in the staff meeting. And I want to take some precautions, because this is interesting. Marie says, they are doing this with many of our brothers and sisters. Yehuda says a lot of Yah-only channels are suppressed. Yeah. And see, and that goes to show you that if you are a messy Hebrew and you believe in JC as your Messiah, they don't mind, because you're still drinking the Kool-Aid, okay? We are the ones that are locked in and that are really firmly established, okay, on the principles, truths, laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High, and we're doing it like it's supposed to be done, like the Most High has said, and I'd stand flat-footedly on that, even before the Most High, right? And I say that, you know what, hey, conscience be, look at my conscience, look at my heart, look at my mind. I know that we're doing it the way that it's supposed to be done, but guess what? It's no wonder that the wickedness of this world would come against us for doing what is right in the eyes of the Most High. Okay? Yeah. It does seem like that. And when you really think about it, it's more accepted. If we were Messianic and we were talking about Jesus, we would be so accepted. And listen, in the majority of the Hebrew populace, we would be accepted because, once again, you're drinking the Kool-Aid if you accept it. You're just like, you're just accepted. It's okay, It's just a different version of Christianity, which is why I call them CWFs, Christians with fringes. That's all they are. They are Christians with fringes. No thanks. No thanks. Okay, well, thank you, Christine Cronin. She says that I want to... You can be there, dear. You can be there. Okay, you can be there. Yeah, interesting, Josh. Josh Cooper says, you don't find these channels unless you are specifically looking for it. I tell you. My sister Yehuda says... Wow, she says that they wouldn't give her channel back, so she had to start over. Interesting. Could you drop a link to your channel? I want to check out your channel. I'm sorry, I didn't know you had a channel, Yehudith. I would love to visit your channel. And anyone else, I would love to support your channel as well. Let me know. You have my email address. You all have my email address. Let me know what your channel is. Okay. In case you don't, okay, I'm putting it in there. There we go. So, all right. I'm putting that in the chat room so that you all can let me know. And by the way, if you want to be in the staff meeting tomorrow, do email me. Give me I think I need your email address in order to invite you. Okay. Yeah, I know, Marie. Marie says, she said, my worry is that these channel VARs will eventually get locked off. I mean, I know. And the censorship is real. I'm telling you, the censorship is crazy. I mean, it's supposed to be free speech, but really, you call this free speech? It's as if rights are being snatched away from us and no one's saying anything about it. The censorship is real, I'm telling you. I'm looking for things that are addressed to me. Oh, okay. Let's see. She doesn't watch Yehudith. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I can't wait to see what you're doing, Yehudith. I can't wait for it. I can't wait. Oh, okay. Ninpo for Life says, I also have a channel comparing the Tanakh with the New Testament. Oh, woo, man, I would love that. See, now that's my kind of stuff right there. Wow. Okay. Hey, give me. Man, let me know. Let me see it. Okay, my brother Bergen, you put these links here. for the true rapture and the other rapture. I was looking at a brother earlier today who was saying that the rapture had already taken place. I wonder if this has something to do with that argument. Yeah, hey, I want these channels. I want to see. I really do want to see your channels. I really do. I want to support. I want to be a part. Wait, did I see about the contaminants being airborne to create bio creatures out of what? No, I did not. I'm kind of behind on checking stuff out. With everything that's been happening, I've been kind of behind. You know, with all this hacking and problems that have been going on, it is just ridiculous. Okay, and Brother Adrian is saying it did during surgery. Oh, during slavery. It did. Oh, the rapture happened during slavery. We got left behind. What? Well, see, now the interesting thing about it is with the so-called rapture, those who are taken are not the ones who survive. The ones that are left are the ones that survive. I don't know why people get that so, they think backwards on that. Those who are taken are the ones who do not survive, and those that are left, they paint a picture like, oh, I got left behind. No, you want to be left behind. You want to be left behind instead of taken. Okay? Taken like Grim Reaper taken, right? That's the context of that verse. So all right. Well, it looks like we have exhausted the questions and the comments. So hey, my brothers and sisters, I want to say, listen, even though this has been, man, it's crazy. It's with all the hacking that's been going on, and with them shutting down my stream today, having to get back on. I'm telling you, we are doing the work of the Most High, and the wicked are fighting it. Whether these are bots or algorithms or whatever's doing this, stop it. And my brother said, hey, look up the word, look up rapture. Okay, hold on. Let me do this. I'm going to look up rapture. And I just did a lesson on the ruptured rapture. Okay, the rapture. This Yeah. Listen to this. The origin of the doctrine of the rapture. Please keep in mind, it is a doctrine. It is a teaching, okay? It is not found in the Tanakh. Not at all. But anyway, people are going cuckoo for Cocoa Pops when it comes to the rapture. It says that the origin of the doctrine, while the concept comes from biblical texts, the specific doctrine and terminology of the rapture, as understood today, was developed and popularized by figures like John Nelson Darby in the 19th century. Okay? Yeah, I'll have to look at this. I mean, I already did a particular session on the ruptured rapture. Let's see. All right, my brothers and sisters. Looks like we have exhausted. It looks like we have exhausted the questions and comments. It looks like we are all clear. With that being the case, my brothers and sisters, before I bid you adieu, I must say to you that I thank you for your time and for your attention. I thank you for those two precious gifts. I try to make it worth the gas money by giving you good content, by giving you a variety, and also by giving you content that will challenge you, content that will make you think, and content that will draw you closer to the Most High. It is my job as a teacher to share with you things that you do not know, or concepts that may seem foreign to you in the moment, but to always lead you toward truth and the empowerment of who the Most High has called you to be. And I just simply want to say that, hey, doing this, it is a great joy, and I appreciate you, and all of you, you're close to my heart. And thank you once again. I want to give shouts out to everyone out there. Thank you, Miss H. Bless you. Bless you. Man, I'd give every one of you a hug if I could. Marie, thank you so much. Marie Yashaz, she says, beautiful lesson. Thanks, Moray. Listen, I love you all. I love you all. I do. Thank you so much. And Michael Charles Marsh, man, I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate each and every one of you, brother Adrian, Bergen Paris, Raymond, peace and blessings to you. Glad to have you with us. Come on back. Those of you considered new, please make sure that you have subscribed. And peace and blessings to each and every one of you. I don't know that I got, Yehudith, did I get a link to your channel? Did I get a link to your channel? I'll tell you what, email me, please. Email me, my beloved sister. I'm going to feel left out if you don't email me. Okay? As well, you too, Nimpo for Life. I want to check out, and anyone else that has a channel, I want to check it out, okay? I appreciate you being here with me, connecting with me, being a part. Hey, I want to do the same as well with you actually teaching truth. I'm behind it 1,000%. Josh Cooper, yeah, man, peace and blessings to you. Man, I'm glad to see you. I, kind of just missed you a little bit. I know you've probably been busy or whatever, but hey, peace and blessings to you, my brother. You stay blessed as well. You stay blessed as well. And with that being the case, hey, I'm getting ready to enjoy some good food. I made for myself some Salisbury steak, gravy, rice, and hey, I'm getting ready to grub. And so you do the same and relax before the Most High. Peace and blessings to you. And Yah willing, hey, we will see you next time around. Shalom.
Thank you.